What's up, guys? Welcome back. In this video, I'll be giving you my review and thoughts on episode 2 of WandaVision. Spoiler alert. The episode starts off with Wanda and Vision in their bedroom in 2 separate beds. Come on, Vision, you could do better than that. It looks like we're picking up in the 1960s, so it's a good assumption that every episode will be taking place in a different decade. So the main storyline of this episode is Wanda and Vision have to perform at a community talent show, and they're gonna be doing some magic and illusions, which is a great reference to Wanda creating this almost magical reality and constructing this sort of illusion of reality that has some sort of barrier that she's created to separate her world from the outside world. At one point, Wanda finds a small toy helicopter, and it's actually in color in comparison to the rest of the world that's still in black and white. We see that Wanda's kind of confused, but also doesn't really think too much of it. But we do notice that there's a sword logo on the side of the red and yellow helicopter. The sword logo is actually just the logo for the SWORD agency, which is an acronym for Sentient Weapon Observation and Response Department. So you can guess that SWORD has been the ones observing Wanda on the televisions, and they're probably trying to make contact with Wanda. Throughout the episode, we see Wanda trying to fit in with the neighborhood ladies, and it doesn't seem to be going too well. She does make one friend who calls herself Geraldine, who doesn't seem to be fitting in with the ladies either, just like Wanda. She was probably sent from the outside world, but we're not really sure if she's a SWORD agent yet. We're gonna have to wait and figure that out. Meanwhile, Vision meets the neighborhood watch guys and gets along with them almost immediately, but then, comically enough, he swallows some gum and appears to just be intoxicated the rest of the episode. So while Vision is appearing to be under the influence of something, not really acting like himself, he remembers that he has to go over and perform at the community talent show with his wife Wanda, and we get to see a fun and comical magic show that they put on for the rest of the community towards the end of the episode, which actually is like my favorite part, just because the comical timing and the writing of this sequence is really, really fun. I know it's kind of cheesy, but it's throwback. It's classic 1960s humor, and I'm super into it, and I thought that the writers did an excellent job with that part. So Wanda's kind of constantly having to cover up for Vision's blunders because he's not really acting like himself. He's not being too clever about, using his superpowers, and Wanda's just having to, fake these illusions, pretending that these actual illusions and magic tricks are just that it's an illusion, it's fake, which kind of is another tie-in to Wanda creating this illusion and separate reality from the rest of the world, and they're kind of beating you over the head with it at this point. And I mean, I like it that it's funny and there's comical elements to it, and the writing is good in that way, but there's not a whole lot of substance outside of that. They keep giving you these like heavy-handed references to magic and like illusions and separate realities, but it's not really it's not really going anywhere yet. One interesting thing that we see is a guy coming up from the sewer wearing a beekeeper outfit, and we see Wanda say no in like a super serious tone, and she kind of resets reality. So it seems like every time we're about to get answers to what's going on in this world, Wanda is like upset, and she's resetting the timeline so she can maintain control of her own reality. And I predict that at some point, probably not even towards the end of the series, probably in like episode 4 or 5, we are going to see a shift. We're going to see her control kind of like snap, and she's not going to be able to maintain that control on this world that she's building in like her own mind, or whatever barrier that she's put between her world and the outside world. We're going to see some kind of like collision with reality and what she thinks is reality, and I think it's going to be really bad for Wanda. I think she's actually going to be the antagonist instead of the protagonist like we normally see in this Marvel kind of story, where the main character is like the good guy and trying to save the day, but really like we all know Vision's dead. Spoiler alert, sorry if you didn't know that already, but we know that Wanda's the main character. But if she's trying to put this barrier in between her world and use her powers to warp reality, then it's gonna be really, really bad. It's gonna be like throwing cold water into a hot boiling pan of oil. Like sparks are gonna fly is what I'm saying, what I'm predicting rather, and it's not gonna mesh too well. And I think the SWORD agents that are probably trying to contact her, or other Avengers members even that are gonna be trying to help her and like save her, she's probably gonna reject that at first, and I bet that there's gonna be some kind of conflict. That's just my prediction, and actually if that's what ends up happening, I think that's gonna be really cool, because Wanda's one of the most powerful characters in the MCU universe, and we haven't really seen her unleash that yet. So that would be really interesting to see. All right, you guys, this is the part of the video where I want you to head down to the comment section, leave your thoughts on episode 2, and more importantly, leave your predictions for episode 3 and the rest of the series, and where WandaVision are going to go on this overarching storyline throughout the series. Also, one thing I wanted to note, that this show is supposed to be connected to Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man 3, and the new rebooted Marvel-owned X-Men, because Wanda Maximoff is part of the, or you know, she's part of the X-Men universe, she's part of the mutants, and it's going to be really, really cool to see if, you know, these characters that are introduced in this show for the first time are somehow tied in to the future X-Men movies and all that good stuff. So go ahead, let me know what you think, and I will see you guys on the next video.
What a piece of junk.